Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Dee, for having me here. So this is going to be very much a working session. It's definitely not going to be all me talking. I want you all to take this opportunity and really to take this moment to just think about, how you want to continue to move forward with your business. And I'm going to be talking about, aligning your growth. What does that look like? And what does that mean specifically for you? So this is going to be a very reflective workshop. And so the one thing I hope you all have is a notebook. That's kind of like the one requirement for this workshop is to have your notebook handy because we're going to be doing some reflecting. And of course, if you feel comfortable sharing as well too, what is sort of coming up for you. Okay, so I'm going to get started here. So this is what we're going to be talking about, aligned growth, attracting the right opportunities for your business. All right. And so this is what I will be covering today. And again, we're all going to be taking that time to reflect. We're all here right now, so might as well, make the most out of it. And for those of you who are watching the replay as well, too, I do hope you are all fully present in this moment and giving yourself this opportunity to go through these exercises that I have for you today. All right. So this is what I'm going to be covering. So we're going to be talking about from chasing to attracting. What can that look like for you in your business? How to get clear in your business, attracting aligned opportunity, and then creating your personal action plan. Okay, so first I wanted to take a moment to talk a bit about aligned growth and what that really means. And so aligned growth is really growth that happens in a way that is consistent with your underlying values, your underlying visions, your priorities, so that progress feels sustainable rather than forced and rather than draining as well too. Obviously, being entrepreneurs in this space, it can feel quite energetically draining sometimes. And it's really important for us to reflect on why that is. And perhaps there is maybe a shift that needs to be made in terms of getting back in alignment with what you really want to do more of. And so, in other words, the way that you are expanding and the results that you are getting are in harmony with your actions. And that really matters. And so it's sort of a bit of a mindset shift. So instead of, chasing after everything, we're going to try to align it so that it makes the most sense for us. So key elements when we're thinking about aligned growth is that, like I said, it is values driven, goals and actions are chosen because it matches your core values, who you are, and not just kind of reflecting like the external pressure or the external validation that we might be experiencing, right? So you're not going to be doing a set of actions because another entrepreneur is doing a set of actions. It has to align and make sense for you and for your business, especially because we all have different business models. And so it's also honoring that part of yourself as well, too. And so taking a look at what does growth mean for you? How does it align with where you want to go? And what is coming up for you energetically when you think about that alignment and that pathway for yourself? And so here's the mindset from chasing to attracting. And we want to attract the things that matters the most to us in our lives. So how do we go from chasing to attracting? Well, we have to do a little bit of an audit. So here is where we're going to start our first reflective practice. So I want you all to give yourself a bit of time, maybe like a few minutes here, to reflect on these key questions that are on the screen right now. So the first one is, where in my business am I currently saying yes to misaligned work? Okay. What does that look like for you? The other question is around what areas in my business are currently draining my energy. So once we reflect on those two, then we're going to take it over to more of the positive frame of mind, which is what areas in my business truly energize me. And lastly, if no limits were in place, what would I love to do more of? Okay. So I'm going to give us maybe a few moments to really just reflect on these questions, reflect in your journal. And then, if you feel comfortable sharing as well too, I would love to hear from you and what comes up for you. Chat, I see. I love to hear some examples for product-based businesses. Sometimes, oh, sorry, it's jumping around here. I'd love to hear examples of product-based businesses. Sometimes, because sometimes struggle with, sorry, it keeps going up, struggle with knowing if you're aligned or not. Okay. And Leah, is there any more like context to that in terms of struggling to feel if you are aligned or not? Free to come off of mute if you want to give a little bit more context to the alignment piece, Leah.
Hi. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. I guess like I get custom projects or custom requests and yeah, I wonder if they're aligned. It could be, you know, because I try to sell to my product in bulk to events. Let's say the event wants a discount for sponsorship, that kind of thing, like sponsorship opportunities. Um, yeah, I guess things like that.
And I'm wondering if there's a way that you can kind of create like an alignment criteria of sorts to
True,
say,
true.
these are the things that I would say yes to, these are the things that I would say no to. So, for example, for myself, whenever I get asked to do workshops, I kind of take a look at, like for example, it's sort of like reduced fee workshops, right? Specifically.
Yeah.
I take a look at, is it sort of like a community organization? Is there a bigger purpose? Is there a bigger impact? Is there sort of like an overall mission or vision towards that organization, right? But if somebody is, for example, if it's like a larger conference and I know that they're paying their speakers really healthily, and they're asking me to reduce my service, like my alignment criteria for that would be that's a no because that's misaligned with where I want to go. But like the community organization, it's a yes because that's more aligned with like the mission driven, impactful work that I want to do at the same time.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, I would kind of recommend like some sort of like an alignment criteria for yourself to really understand like what is a yes and what is a no.
And so I'm so curious, like, how do you decide as a speaker? Maybe this is off topic.
Yeah,
You
no,
can
it is.
decline, but
Yeah.
some events want to pay the speaker, some don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I think for
or they
me,
position it as a opportunity for you, so they don't want to pay. I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I would say like earlier on in my business, I would kind of like say yes to everything because I'm like I'm trying to build my brand, I'm trying to get this exposure and all of that good stuff. But now because I'm sort of reaching my capacity in terms of what I can do and what I can't do, I've become a lot more selective. And so for me, it's like that example of like the community organization. That's an automatic yes because like I love doing that work and I know it's going to give back and feed the community. If it's an organization that's asking me to speak for free and I know they're paying their speakers and they're paying for all these other things, I feel like that's kind of disingenuous, right? So I'm
Hmm, hmm.
maybe not so much doing the free the free speaking gig for you know specific organizations like that. And that's just an example. But really, I think, having a good sense of your why you were doing something versus why you're not doing something. And then in your case as well, too, if they're sort of wanting to reduce that fee, is there another ask in there that you can ask for that would make it okay for you to want to do that? So that's something else to also consider as well, too.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And also just where you're at makes a difference, right?
Where you're at makes a huge difference.
Like exposure, not exposure.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
that's helpful. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, Dee says, drain of energy, standing firm on dates with clients, and then what energizes me, speaking and workshops, and no limits in place for in-person experiences. Okay. So Dee, you're saying yes to all in-person experiences? Is that what you meant?
Um, yeah, so if there are no limits in place, I would like to have more
Oh,
in-person experiences.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, amazing. Mhm. Right. And then anybody else have an answer for this last question? I always love asking this question to clients of mine. It's like, if no limits were in place, what would you do more of? Anybody have like that vision for themselves right now?
I'm struggling with answering this one too.
Hmm.
Um, like I see Dee's example. I understand like you have limits of energy and time, and if you didn't have that, you could do more speaking. I'm just trying to think of like there's certain projects I like, or if there was less fear, I would pitch more bigger things. I don't know, does that make sense?
That does make sense. So maybe it's kind of reflecting on what are those bigger things, right? So if fear weren't in the way, because that's a limit, right? If you took the fear out, what are the things
Hmm.
that you would go after? What are those big things that you would have like the audacity to go after? And
Okay.
I think that also gives you an idea of the direction that you're heading in, as well. And, having a little bit of a conversation with that fear. I know that sounds a little bit far-fetched, but like really it's about examining, what is the fear that's holding us back? And is that fear being helpful or is it not? All right. Okay, so hopefully you all have some good points for this to reflect on. I'm going to move on to the next slide. Okay, so I wanted to talk about getting clear in your business. And I think this is a really important space for a lot of us to spend more time in because we are so busy, being in our business that sometimes, working on the business is like it really needs to be a priority because that also will let us know, again, like what we want to do more of, what we want to do less of, and why. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to describe my model, which is the clear model, and this is like really highly adaptable depending on really, if you're navigating a business or whether you're navigating a career. It is one of those frameworks that is adaptable to your needs. And so I'm going to kind of walk us through it. And then I have, a couple of prompts that I want you all to also reflect on at the same time. Okay. And so CLEAR is an acronym. And so it starts with the very first thing you want to do is clarify, right? And so clarify meaning, evaluating your needs right now, like 2025 is almost done. And, it's really important to kind of take stock of, what has happened within the last year, what has happened within the last 2 years, 3 years, even. Like, have your needs changed from, a few years ago to now? Chances are probably yes. And that also means the needs of your business has changed as well too. We also want to reflect on the stage of your business growth, right? Because the stage of your business growth like really matters in terms of what specific actions you're going to be taking now at this point. And so, if you're starting up your business, you're going to be taking a certain set of actions. If you are maintaining, you're going to be taking a certain set of actions. And if you're, scaling and growing, that also looks different as well too. And so here you want to assess current challenges and areas where you may need that additional support based on the needs of your business. So that's the very first step, is clarifying for yourself. Then you want to move on to taking a look at even just getting deep on, your lifestyle and your value alignment. So I talked a little bit about making sure that you know and understand what your core values are. And your core values are those things that are really important to you now for this current phase of time. And so it's really important to define that for yourself. So for example, core values, it could be, maybe it's like you want some more creativity, you want some more space, you want it to be more, relationship driven. You want to have more flexibility, right? Like, what are the things that are truly important to you right now? Define your non-negotiables, and then reflect on the business you want to lead. So what does that look like moving into the future? What does the business you want to lead look like for you moving into the future? And then we move to exploration and experience. And here it's about spending some time to explore the things that you want to explore, right? And so I know for a lot of you, you're kind of thinking of, okay, like, is there a next offer in there? Is there a collaboration opportunity? What is next for me? And or, is it just something different? Or is it maintaining the same things that you are currently doing right now? So taking some time to reflect on, what does that look like for you? And then, of course, it is about action planning it. So I just kind of identified like, what is one area that you can explore to what that you can explore further that feels good for you. And I really just narrowed it down to one area because I think as entrepreneurs, we have so many different ideas. We want to go in so many different directions, and it can be overwhelming sometimes. And so now the focus is just to zone in on like, what is one thing you want to focus in on? And you can always expand that out later on as well too. So for example, is it retaining like premium clients? Is it speaking? Is it partnerships? Is it a brand new offer? What does that look like for you? And then we get to redesign implementation. And then from that one thing that you want to explore, how do you want to incorporate that piece in your business? Okay. And so the thing that I want you to start to reflect on is one, kind of going back to like, what are your core values right now? So what is the most important thing for you right now? So thinking of that. And then kind of moving on to, is there one area that you want to explore a little bit more of for the future? So I'll give a couple of minutes to kind of reflect on that. So again, that is like, what are your core values? What are the things that are most important to you right now? And this will help you to define your non-negotiables as you think about the things that are most important to you. And then what is one area that you want to explore that feels good for you? All right. Does anybody have any ideas around like the core values? We can start there while folks are still thinking. What is truly important for you right now as you think about your business?
I can jump in here. It's Natasha. Sorry, my voice is terrible. I have a cold. Um, can oh, sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. I think right now, interesting enough, the important thing for me in my business is that it is sustainable, right? And I think that has been a big shift in a lot of the different markets lately. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things right now. It's sustainable, and I'm still doing what I love in terms of helping people grow in their mindset, in their mental health, and just be their best selves too.
Thank you for sharing, Natasha. Like I think that that is huge, like that your
Mhm.
business is sustainable. And I think that goes back to like even just like reflecting on the stage of business growth right now. And it sounds like for
Mhm.
you, it's like, maintaining as well as helping people, expand on their mindsets. And that's something that truly resonates for you at this time because sometimes it's also not about, growing to like I don't know, like a $2 million business at the same time. I mean, if that is your goal, that's definitely, something to work on. But if it's more along lines of like, yeah, like I want it to be sustainable and meaningful and impactful and continue to, help to impact other people's life, there's so much value in that. And so, going back to like understanding like why you're doing what you're doing because this will also help to align and attract the opportunities that you want at the same time, and also help you to say yes or no to something a lot more easier as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyone else? Like, what are some of your core values right now? Like, what are things that are like important to you as you think about, you can even think about like your lifestyle, you can think about your business, you can think about, what truly matters for you right now. What are the most important things that matter for you right now?
Would this be like hours worked? Like for example,
Yeah.
like working when the kids are in school or aligning my like vacation
Ah.
with theirs and stuff?
Yes, that's definitely like alignment in terms of and how I like to classify that not only is like being present in the work while you're in the work and then being present with your family when you're with your family. So it's like creating a lifestyle around your business, it kind of sounds like.
Yeah. I've been
Yeah.
kind of moving towards that shift lately, especially with the age that my kids are in. I want to like be around more.
Yeah. Okay. So to the ability to have that, like would you call that like more flexibility or like more focus on like the timing or how would you kind of phrase that?
Yeah, it's like so I try to schedule shoots when they're in school, but the major shift I've done in the past few years is aligning my time off when they're not in school. So
Hmm.
then I like push a little more when like during the school year.
Mhm.
And that was a shift that I had to get used to because it can feel like a lot of pressure, especially like September.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love that. It's like you're creating a lifestyle for yourself that truly resonates with you. And again, going back to that sentiment of like, well, this will give you a better idea of like the opportunities to say yes to you and opportunities to say no, thank you to you as well. And or putting some boundaries in place around making sure that you're maintaining that lifestyle that you want to maintain for yourself as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's around the lifestyle and value alignment. Is there anyone that had any points around the one area that you can explore a little bit further? And not as like a New Year thing or anything like that, more in line of like, when you see the vision for the future, what's one thing that's sort of like top of mind for you? Is it like more partnerships? Is it, speaking opportunities? Is it like a high ticket offer that's on the horizon? Like, what do you think? What's kind of coming up for you in that area?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
So for 2026, I would love to receive another certification. So like not just taking, oh, there's a great course that I see coming up across Instagram or on LinkedIn, but actually
Um,
take another course, get a certification. So, making that time to look for something at a college or a university and like map out that time around the spring so that I'm able to like finish it by the end of the year.
I love that. See, like I'm always for professional development and learning, especially when you have a real purpose for that as well too. I can share one that I'm working on as well too. I'm working on creating more in-person engagement or in-person planning days for my clients. And so one of the things that I'm also working on is like my presence and how I show up. So I actually just signed up for like a workshop on I think it's like a powerful presence workshop. So that should be interesting coming up as well too, because I want to show up in a way that helps my clients at the same time and that they can see themselves in that. All righty, so I can move on to the next one here. Next slide. Okay. And so now we're talking about attracting aligned opportunities, right? So now that you have, sort of like defined what is important to you, where you're going to spend your energy, where you're going to spend your time, and kind of thinking about that one area of focus. Now it's about attracting that aligned opportunity for yourself. And so here is another reflective activity I also want you to engage in. And this is about creating an aligned growth statement for yourself. Okay, so I know we spend a lot of time doing this for like, identifying our ideal client and all of this stuff for like marketing purposes, but this is more around creating the statement for growth purposes and what that looks like for you, right? And so here are the prompts here. So you're going to create an aligned growth statement. So you want to include who you serve, how you serve them, what makes your approach unique in a way that reflects your values and business essence. right? And so, kind of thinking about Natalie's example where she said, she aligns her business with, the hours of school, right? And so, to me, that speaks to like family is very important to her, and that also reflects in her business as well too. And so, thinking about what your values are, how is that how does that show up in your business? So thinking about your values, how does that show up in your business for you? So let's spend some time here. So we're going to create that aligned growth statement, and this is really going to get to the essence of how your business is going to show up in that growth essence, and what does that look like for you? And when you're ready, if anyone wants to share, I'd love to hear one.
So Jody, for this one, I think you like know who I serve. It's like, so I serve like female entrepreneurs with I just kind of put like strategic brand photography,
Mhm.
and what makes the approach unique. So that was a piece where I was like, I don't know, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
think that if we tie it back to what I was talking about before in terms of like time, I really try to make time very efficient and like effective. And
Mhm.
I feel that I'm really good with managing time. Like I used to be a project manager and I still
Mhm.
am, but that was my like corporate career. So I like really maximize every moment I am. Like I am with the clients, I'm very present.
Mhm.
So I think I don't know how to articulate that, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, as like a point of like uniqueness or difference, um, beyond like doing a photo shoot as the service.
Yeah, and I think I would say think bigger in terms of
Okay.
like how you help people, because even just working with you, people are able to kind of envision themselves in like a different light,
Mm,
right?
okay.
From and I know you said like you just take photography. Like it's so much more than that, in my opinion,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
It's like,
it,
but
it
it's
is
so hard to like
definitely,
say,
yeah, I know. And it's hard like when you're the one that's in it. And so even like a great way to even do this activity is to say like, um, talk to somebody that like has worked with you and say like, okay, like how did you experience me? Like, what do you think was unique about how I approach photography? Like, what do you think? Like, and I can even answer that to say that like I don't even just see you as a photographer. I see you as like a visionary. I see that you see the vision for other people as they're, sort of navigating their personal branding and their image and, what's next for them. So even just like the opportunity you and FIFA created through like next level, like you can use some of that terminology as well too, right? Like I help people see themselves in their next level or I help them build to their next level because I feel like it is definitely so much more than photography. It's like a vision. It's like a visionary business, right? Because anybody can go to any photographer, but you hold so much uniqueness, Nat. So
cool, thank you.
yeah, you do. Yes. So it's really honoring that piece for yourself as well too. And like really for anyone, like if you're having trouble like answering this, like what makes me unique, ask somebody that you've worked with, ask somebody who's experienced you so they can give you a different like perspective and a different frame of reference to really incorporate as well too. And then also tying it back to your values as well too. So like when you think about, when you're doing photography, like what are the most important things for you, right? Like even when you create this experience, and it is very much an experience, what are the most important elements of that experience that you are creating for people? And this is how it manifests through your business as well.
Cool, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
thanks. Anyone else want to share, how they kind of see their growth vision, their growth statement?
I created one here.
Oh, I love it.
So I help established women entrepreneurs step into the visibility their work deserves and stop dimming their light. On LinkedIn,
Ooh.
that means becoming recognized, trusted, and chosen by the right decision maker. My approach brings strategy and structure together so their presence feels aligned and confident.
Oh my gosh, dude,
Is
you
that
just give
too
me
much?
no, you just gave me chills. I was like, okay. I love that piece around the dimming the light. Oh my goodness. That like totally stood out for me because when I talk to people about showing up on LinkedIn, it is very much them dimming their light and like, oh, what would other people say? Well, that's a part of dimming your light when you're so much more concerned with what other people will say versus how you actually want to show up. So I love it. I love that, D, and it shows like the direction in which you're going as well too. And I would say this is going to help you attract certain clientele as well too. Certain clientele who is like ready to stop dimming their light, right? They don't want to dim their light anymore, so that's why they're coming to you. So that totally makes sense to me. Okay, I saw something in the chat, but I can no longer access the chat. So, uh, okay, one second, I can see it here. Oh, yes, I agree with that. That is why you're good at leveling up LinkedIn profiles, 100%. Okay. All right, so I invite you all to kind of like take this back with you, massage this out a little bit, and ask other people like how do they experience you? What would they say is unique about you as well too, and putting that together. All right, let's move on to the next piece here. Oops, went too far back there. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about opportunity alignment. So now that you know what's important to you, you know the direction in which you're heading in. Here is a bit of an opportunity alignment checklist. Okay, So the very first thing you want to check to see, whether an opportunity is in alignment or not is, does this opportunity align with my core values? And that's why we spend some time defining like what is truly important to you right now. Okay. And so this is going to be important again for saying whether you're saying like that yes or that no, or maybe not now. Okay. Vision fit. This is also very, very important as well too. So does this opportunity move my long-term vision or desired direction forward in a meaningful way? Okay, so we're not going to just take on any opportunity just because it sounds like a good opportunity. Now it's really important to move into, okay, well, does it meet the direction in which I'm going? And if it doesn't, then it's either a no thanks or not right now, right? Because not every opportunity, we don't need to say yes to every opportunity, because if you do say yes to every opportunity, then you're going to miss out on the ones that are truly aligned and meant for you. So like this is really important to consider as well. Next is energy check. Does this opportunity excite or energize me rather than drain or stress me? Right. And so even just taking a look at what does that feel like in my body, right? When I think about this opportunity, is it an excitement? Is it initial excitement? Or is it something that's like, I don't know if I really want to do that. All right. And then the next one down is capacity reality. So asking yourself, do I have the time, the energy, the resources, the space to pursue this opportunity without compromising my existing commitments? This one is truly important, especially as entrepreneurs, like we tend to overcommit ourselves sometimes and just like overstuff our days. We don't really need to do that, right? When it comes to aligning with certain opportunities. So it's really important to check in on our capacity. What does that look like right now? Maybe it's not right now, maybe it's later, maybe it's Q1, maybe it's Q2, right? And then finally, what does the growth potential look like? So will this help me or my business grow? So for example, will it help me grow in skill? Will it help me grow in network? Will it help me grow in income in a way that feels sustainable to me? And so these are really important when we're considering any sort of opportunities that are coming our way, is to do a bit of a check in with ourselves to see, does it fit my values? Does it fit my vision? Is it energizing? Do I have the capacity to do it? And is there a growth potential there? I'm going to pause there to see if there's any questions or anything on that. Did that make sense to you all? We had none.
Hi, Jody. This is Michelle.
Michelle.
I just want to say this is very thorough. I love this because I think we all know that we need to be very selective
Yes.
with who we align with or experiences or opportunities, but to see it like this is almost like a measure stick that you can kind of go through one by one. Okay, does it meet my values, the vision, the energy, all of this?
Mhm.
Is a great way to um, look at something against this list. So what again, I'm sorry, I'm just sort of speaking off the top of my head. So yeah, well, it's great we know to be selective. This actually helps because sometimes we can overlook something, thinking it's a great opportunity and then realize we said yes. And then if we had looked at our capacity, we jumped on something because it seemed so amazing. It seemed like it was aligned.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the capacity, that is something that right away, yeah, maybe it's something you have to pass up at this particular moment. So I just love this because it's very thorough. So I just wanted to thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, it really is about checking in with ourselves. And then that's why it's important, that's why I kind of started with the like, what are your values? What are your vision? Like, what does that look like for you right now? Because really defining that for yourself then when you get to this point of, okay, these opportunities are coming along, you can check up against this checklist to see, like, is this something that I want to do right now? Is this something that is beneficial for me? And, is there value in taking on whatever that opportunity is, right? Because we, at the same time, we don't want to burn ourselves out, right? We want to leave ourselves the space to be able to do like the deep work that we need to do as being business owners as well too. So like that's super important as well. Okay, just seeing in the chat, super helpful. Okay, great. I'm glad you all find this helpful. So you can always revisit this whenever you're like, okay, I have an opportunity coming up. Let me see if this is something that truly resonates for me right now. Um, all right, it's taking, Anya said that you're taking a good look at 2026. I'm glad you're taking a good look at 2026. And yeah, this can be done as, it doesn't even have to be as a part of 2026. It can be just continuing to move forward and just asking yourself that question of like, okay, is this aligning with me right now? Yes or no, right?
Jody, we have approximately 6 more minutes.
No problem. I will speed it up. Okay. So next is around like visibility and positioning. So just this question around where are aligned opportunities existing naturally, right? And I know Dee is so great at challenging us gently to naturally align with opportunities that are existing. And of course, all of us are on LinkedIn. But also, are there other platforms that maybe we're not tapping into? Are there certain communities that, we need to be a part of, like even just a part of the conversations around what's happening? I know for me in the career space, I'm consciously thinking about, okay, like what communities can I start to get to be a part of? Like one for me is even just like the parenting community, because I'm noticing a lot of parents in my practice that want to shift their career because they want more balance in their lives. And so that's something on my agenda as well, too. Thanks, Tasha. So yeah, just kind of thinking about this piece as well for you to say, where can I naturally align myself where there are opportunities as well, too, so they will naturally attract on over to you. Okay, and then lastly, I promise we're gonna finish on time. Lastly, thinking about an action plan for yourself, right? And so when you're thinking about, how can I align certain opportunities to the direction in which I'm going, with any action plan, you do want to make sure that you have some timelines attached to it, that it is strategic. So like what is the purpose? What is the reason? So for example, if you are getting involved in a community, what is the strategy there, right? So thinking about those pieces. And then of course, you need to have some action items, like what will you be doing as a part of, and I'm just kind of taking an example of being a part of a community. Are you going to start to have conversations with folks? Are you proposing a workshop? What does that look like for you? And then testing. So a lot of people, I feel like needs to spend a little bit more time in the testing. It's okay to test things out to see whether or not this is something you want to do. If this is an opportunity you want to do, an opportunity you want to explore, is this an alignment that makes sense? So testing it out, giving yourself a little bit of time to test that out. So that you can make the determination on if you want to do more of something or less of something at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna leave off here with this quote, and it just says, "The moment you choose yourself, the world rearranges to reflect that choice, because purpose does not wait for permission. It blooms the instant you believe you are worthy of it." So let's put all of our energy out there in terms of what we want to align with and attract for the future, because when we put that energy out there, it will naturally attract to us like the magnets and the magnificent beings that we are. All right, so that is it for me. These are all the ways that you can find me. We are all connected already on LinkedIn, so I will kind of pause there or end there and see if there are any questions.
Well, first of all, I just want to, before everyone starts, I want to say thank you, Jody. This was great. And even though I'm going to watch the replay, I took a picture of that quote. That quote is so powerful. And just putting in my 2 cents or more than 2 cents worth, like when you talked about energy check, one of the things that I do in terms of an energy check is that, and it works very well for me, somebody presents an opportunity and then I transport myself. That opportunity might be 2 months from now or a year from now, but I literally like I put myself there. I'm sitting in that room and I look at my face. And if that face is not happy, it's an automatic no. So this is a really great reminder.
I love that. You know what's interesting as well too, because that's a future self projection. What you're doing, Dee, it's a future self projection. What I also have my clients do as well too is like a future self meditation, and also I have them like journal to their future self, like their future self is talking to them. And so what would that future self say about the opportunity or, whatever is sort of like coming up for them? So I love that. That is so great. All right. Yeah, any other questions? Otherwise, that's kind of it for me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So from the tips, I was thinking that some of the unknowns that are harder to like know, and I would love to get your insight on it, is
Yeah.
for the opportunity checklist, there's the growth potential piece that I find that's like it's like a gamble. It's kind of like
Mhm.
what we make of it sometimes, you
Mhm.
know? And also for the action plan, the testing part, especially when it's trying something new. I would love if you can kind of go a bit deeper into like what works for you.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think with the testing piece, it's having some criteria around that. So testing could be, perhaps it's engaging in conversations with folks who have already did the thing that you're thinking about doing. Perhaps it's like shadowing, I don't know, like a meeting or something like that. Perhaps it's giving yourself like even like a time frame to say, I will try this thing for like 3 months. I'll give myself 3 months, just putting an arbitrary time frame there. Um, and I will see how it's feeling for me, how it's moving for me, how it's going for me. And then I will make my decision from there, right? Because I think, with the unknown element, I think that keeps people in like a state of like over-analysis, a state of like their fears kind of taking over. And so if you kind of shift that mindset into more of like the testing, okay, I'm going to test it to see, I'm not committed to it yet. I'm just going to try it and see if it's something that resonates for me. Is it energetically draining? Is it energizing for me? Is it eating up my capacity? Right. So even just analyzing some of those things for yourself as you're testing it out can be super helpful as well too. Like we don't need to say yes right away. Like we don't need to commit to things right away. And sometimes it's like just taking a pause to say, okay, instead of just jumping in saying yes, maybe it's like I'll test it out a little bit. And what does that testing look like for me? And just kind of defining that for yourself.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is now 11 a.m. Thank you so much, Jody. Oh, got some really great things, especially as like for me, as especially as I'm moving into the next year, things
Yeah.
to focus on as well. And just a reminder, everyone, so I will put this up into the group a little bit later. Jody, I will give you your copy. Congratulations.